Hello everybody. This is Bugout on another Bugout adventure. Today's going to be more of a commentary and some reviews of some books that I've recently purchased on certain skills that I'm attempting to acquire or fine-tune. These books mostly on bushcraft and survival, requires a couple of things. One is your ability to learn how to read and understand. Two is your ability to get out there and try and work some of these techniques. And three is your desire to survive in any scenario when it comes to an SHTF situation. Now currently, we as preppers, we're on high alert, working overtime. We have so much going on in our country, in the world, in our neighborhoods, in our cities, that constitutes an SHTF. Many people right now, they're actually going through it. They're living it while we're sitting on the outside and kind of looking in. But at any given moment in time, it could be us. So that's why we prep. We prepare to, one, the main goal is to survive. Two, to have food to eat and some level of comfort that we had become accustomed to beforehand. And three is that we all prepare, regardless whether we consider ourselves preppers or not. I myself, I've been prepping for several years. I think I was almost born into it, biologically and through my DNA, because I do not ever remember a time, even growing up, that I did not have some type of tools, food, plan to sustain my survivability. Now, the process and the road has not been easy, so I'm going to leave that right there. It takes time, it takes effort, determination, and perseverance. Spiritual and mental prowess are some of the key components of being a prepper. So one of the books that I got, because I was thinking, you know, on some of my bushcraft skills, I'm really lacking on those. I've been practicing them over the winter, bugging out in the winter, camping out in the winter, and I would think besides just the dead of the summer heat, those are some of the worst options to have if you were to have to bug out. But one of the books I got was Bushcraft, How to Make a House in the Wilderness. It's a little paperback book, not very long. It's got a couple chapters in it. Really, this book, some of the stuff in here I know about. Some parts of it I do not know about. And some things that I thought I knew were kind of tweaked in this book. This is more of a beginner's book. I'm more of like a intermediate, not necessarily expert at bushcraft, but I found this book to be insightful on a lot of things. Some of the ideas on bugging out is that you don't have to leave. Let me correct that. There's no need to bug out if your life and livelihood is not in serious peril. Well, my rebuttal to that is, Why wait till the very last minute when you see the train coming? How long are you going to stay on that track facing the engine of that train before you decide to get off that track, no matter how comfortable it may be to you? So bushcraft is one of the skills that I think that every prepper should acquire in their tool bag of prepping skills and tools. Okay, I kind of went in a circle there. Some of the basic components of bushcraft is knowing how to make a shelter, knowing how to find water, and knowing how to make a fire. I would say learn how to make a fire now with just some basic things. This book covered it, and it's by Brenda Nert is who it is, if y'all want to look it up. I'm sure it's showing backwards for y'all. I don't know. It may not be. But one of the cool things that I come across in this book was while I was camping out, and I did some videos on this, I have a 10-man tent. It's pretty much like a small apartment to me. And the wind had gotten up. I was camping out, and the wind had gotten up to 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds, you know, 35 to 45-mile-an-hour gusts. And I was having to scramble for stakes to secure my tent even more, besides the 6 that I had on it, plus the other 4 that I had on the canopy of the tent. And so I'm scrambling, looking for, you know, metal stakes that I had bought in the past, and I ended up getting some together. But I thought, if I don't have the amount of metal stakes that I need, and I'm bugged out, I'm out in the woods, I'm hiding out from, let's say, the SHTF of a nuclear war with Russia and the United States, and they've decided to drop nukes, and I was one of the lucky ones that didn't get vaporized, and I was one of the lucky ones who hasn't had any exposure to radiation, and I'm in a fairly wooded area, and you know, the jet stream, everything is going my way. And I'm just out there. I don't have any, you know, fallout coming down on me. It's just out there. And I wasn't able to get any metal stakes or pack those, you know, or grab them quick enough, you know, things like this. Anything could come up. Well, I found out that in this book, it was telling me some of the best ways to make your own stakes for your tent is to find green wood. Now, I figure, you know, just picking up some wood off the ground and making a stake out of it and everything would suffice. But the logic behind this is that the green wood is more solid than the dried wood, and that it makes better stakes for holding capacities, and it's not so easily to snap or break under like the pull of, say, the wind on the tent or whatever the case may be. Oh, mostly the tent or the lean-to, or you know, whatever your shelter is going to be at the time, other than a cave and stuff. But I thought that was really insightful. Some other things that came into mind is making your own shelter out in the bush requires time and effort. You know, you want your shelter to cover you from natural factors, say, like from the wind or the rain or the snow and stuff. And really another important thing is the tools that you have. Maybe all you have with you is just a knife, and a raincoat that you've got on. You don't even have your Bugout bag. You know, what can you do? How can you manage to make a shelter that'll protect you? So this little book talks about all that, and I was really happy with it. But because I read so fast, I've already gone through it, and I thought, well, shoot, you know, maybe there's something else I didn't catch in it, and that I need to go back over. But you know, you've got all kinds of shelters. You have a teepee shelter, you have a basic snow shelter, you have shade shelters, which are very important, especially if you're from the desert areas. You know, you want to get that shade. You don't want that sun beating down on you all the time. There's wickiups and brush structures. There's thatched hut shelters. There's log cabins, which is something that I really want to do. I want to end up building a cabin that's recessed into a mountainside, and all. But it covers all those things, you know, and ideas on how to use different materials that you may have with you for shelter. Say you've got your raincoat or you've got a jacket. You know, I mean, how can you use that for a shelter? What can you use that for? What if you have just a tarp? I mean, all kinds of questions come to mind when beginning with bushcraft. What I like to equate it to is that some of you might have done this, some of you might not. But if you have, you can remember back when you were kids and you made forts or you made clubhouses. It's pretty much the same thing. And if you go about it like that, and you build your shelter as a puzzle with layers on it, you should be able to protect yourself from the elements. Now, whether or not you're able to survive after that point is something totally different, because those are a whole new set of skills, which you should have some of those skills already anyhow. And if you don't, learn how, even if it's just picking up a book or watching a YouTube video and walking through the steps in your mind, as to, if this was me, how would I do it? That, you know, really is some of the best suggestions that I can give on building a shelter. What's it going to be used for? How long are you going to be in it? Is it going to protect you against what you want it to protect you against? Now, in the case of full-blown out nuclear war, we know that bugging out in the wilderness, short of being in a cave, you're probably not going to make it. Sooner or later, you will get exposed to the nuclear radiation. But you want to think about all these kind of things. You want to have realistic expectations of yourself as well. So, with that being said, thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you for watching. If this is your first time on my channel, I appreciate that. And also, if you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe, excuse me, if you haven't already, if that's something that you'd like to do. So, anyhow, this has been another Bugout adventure commentary. Stay blessed, stay focused, keep your head on a swivel, people. Keep on prepping.